Cold day today. Very cold, a lot of snow outside. It's kind of peaceful though, kind of quiet. All that I can hear is the sound of the heater going on in the background here. As I sit and relax, I've just been watching a lot of YouTube videos. Sometimes I find that the only way I could find the truth in the news media is on YouTube. And I can't even just go to one broadcast. I have to go to several different YouTube channels in order to see if I can put together what's being said and come up with the truth. That is a tragedy nowadays. Nowadays, the truth is that we cannot trust most of the news channels anymore, and we cannot trust even the federal government, because now they are doing what used to be illegal, using soft warfare against their own people and manipulation to get us to believe things that aren't true and to act on those instead of things that are in the best interest of everyone in the country, not just the few at the top. So here we are, just who we are, trying to make it in this cold and crazy world when it seems like everything is just falling apart. Seems like church and state, educational system, the media, all of the things we put our faith in and our trust in is just falling apart and leaving us here alone. Even the family system is falling apart, as you have parents who have gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender children voting against them by voting in people who hate them and supporting people who hate their own children. You have people disowning their children for various reasons. So now even the family system seems to be falling apart. Where does that leave us? In a total place of emptiness. It leads us to a place where we must stand alone and perhaps for some of us look deep within ourselves for the first time in our lives. I think a lot of people nowadays who are depressed have become awake. They have seen how the world works and they can't handle that. And so all of the lies and falsity have fallen away, and they are standing there alone with all of their ideas about themselves, about God, about creation, being challenged. They are being forced to let go of the fantasies, but most of them don't know this. They don't know about what is known as the dark night of the soul. They don't know about the via negativa, or the negative path that has to happen most of the time for one to grow, for one to change. One usually has to give up something or get rid of something before they can become new beings. But we haven't learned that. We've learned when we get depressed, it's because of some imbalance in our brains and we need to get on some type of medication or something to relieve ourselves of the pain and suffering as soon as possible. Another theory, though, is it is necessary to go through the darkness, holding up the light of reasoning, the light of understanding, and the light of awareness that exists within all of us. Sometimes we have to trust in the gods who are in charge of the darkness and who guide us through the darkness. This, you see, has been erased from most of Western society. We're always talking about a God of light and the light and entering into the light, and we ignore the fact that there is darkness and that divinity can take us into the darkness and be with us in the darkness, guiding us and caring for us. There were many ideas about gods and goddesses who dwelled in the darkness and who cared for people and who did what was best for people, not evil beings who threw one in the darkness and fire and punished one out of hatred. No, ones who did what was necessary to help people let go of their false ideology and move to wholeness and growth. We need to go back to the understanding of these mythological beings, these gods and goddesses, whether they be mythological or real or just archetypes that are parts of our mind and our psyche. We need to go back to them, to address them, to reclaim them, to cast off the false religions that say that there is only one loving God, and we represent that God and will kill you if you don't agree with us. The things that they do show you the God that they are representing, you see. Because the proof, the confession, is in the fruit or the continued action of whatever a person says or whatever an institution does. And many of the dominant religions of the day fall short. Many are angry, demonic, worshippers of self and power over other people, creating themselves as little gods ascending to the seat of the Most High, as it was put in some of the writings, trying to be like the Most High God. In other words, they're very satanic. It's time to let go of those and return back to the real. To go back to an understanding of who and what we are and why we are here. And to realize that all of these ideas of gods and goddesses and angels and demons and all of these things exist mostly in our collective mind, the larger mind that is not separate in a little bubble walking around on earth, but is connected to each and everything. And when we become aware of this and realize that we are that original mind, that which was seen as evil is no longer seen as evil. That which is seen as good is no longer seen as good. They are all seen as things that work with us to fulfill our will and desire, and to allow us to use the one thing that differentiates human beings from many animals and plants. That is the power of choice. We can choose, you see, to affect our own evolutionary patterns. We can build cities instead of living in huts, or we can live in huts instead of building cities. We can make a choice. And more importantly, we can create and recreate the inner dialogue, the inner thoughts, the inner feelings within us, so that we can become whatever we would like. We could bring heaven to earth by beginning with bringing it to ourselves. We can live a life of joy in the midst of the fire. We could become one who dances in the fire, dances with danger, dances with chaos, knowing not only that we will overcome, but we have overcome. We are living in an age of fear, of anger, of hurt and suffering. All of these things have been programmed into us over millennia and millennia, and now they are just coming to fruition. It is like taking a little bit of poison over and over and over again and thinking our body is getting used to it until it reaches the point where we just can't take any more. Or like when a person has a kidney stone, eating and drinking, yes, filtering out the things that is necessary through the kidneys, but some of it, the toxins are not being filtered out and they become crystals and they get bigger and bigger until they cannot pass out any longer. So we suffer the pain of that which has been building up for years and years as it slides out, cutting and hurting all the way until it is gone. We are not going to bypass the fruit of what is happening today, the violence, the hatred, the racism, transphobia, all of those things. It's like a kidney stone. And we are going to just have to find a way to be comfortable while the natural process is going on. Perhaps we can speed it up. Nowadays, they say that some people can use these sonic waves and can explode the kidney stone so that the pieces are much smaller and less painful. Perhaps that is something that we can do, but sometimes that doesn't even work. We just have to learn how to live and bear the pain. And that is where the inner work comes. And the realization of who and what we are, what we have been in the past and will be in the future. And this realization comes as we live in the now that encompasses all time. Living in the now encompasses all the past and all the future. And it reminds us that each day is a blessing and each moment is a chance to play and remember our divinity, our godhood, to worship, pray, dance to the goddesses or gods that attract us, knowing that they are part of us and part of our psyche, and learning to love ourselves fully and completely, seeing the universe, seeing each person, each plant, each plot of land as part of the one, even as we are. So thanks for being with us. Like what you're hearing? Please subscribe to our channel so we can do more videos, perhaps better quality, even though what's being said is most important, not how fancy it is. You can visit our website. That's down below. And most of all, the most important thing is that you have a beautiful day. May the goddess of all things bless you. Namaste, everyone.